Welcome to the Futur3 Podcast. Boom, 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 boom. I'm Sean.
I'm Shaylin.
And I'm Zion.
And we are the Futur3 Podcast.
Most people in finance chase the money and bounce around. Today's guest joined one company as a mortgage banker in 2009, built his way up from the ground floor, and is now the CRO of Rocket Mortgage, one of the biggest names in the entire home buying industry. He sets the vision and leads the strategy for Rocket Pro, the division that serves mortgage brokers, correspondent leaders, community banks, and credit unions nationwide. Under his leadership, it became the largest lender in the wholesale channel in the country. He played college football, bleeds Detroit Lions, which I do like, by the way. That's my second favorite team. And has spent 17 years in an industry most people only think about when they are buying a house. Please welcome to the Futur3 Podcast, Mr. Austin Niemiec.
Welcome.
What's up?
What's up? How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing very good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah,
of course.
So, a Lions fan. That
Big time Lions fan.
That must suck. Yeah.
Life is good as a Lions fan. Right now, at least. It's okay.
I mean, comparing it to the Eagles, I don't know about that one, but
Yeah.
I'll let you have it. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm wearing my Eagles green for you guys today.
Yeah,
Love it.
There
I
we
see
go.
that.
There we
Fly,
go.
Eagles, fly.
Go Birds.
So, what does loyalty in this fan base kind of build inside of a person?
Well, I love the Lions. I just turned 40, and I don't think I've missed a Lions game since I was 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
I used to wake up and turn on the 1 o'clocks, and I would watch all the way till the 4 o'clocks were done, and Barry Sanders era. But I think it's taught me a lot of patience. You got to be patient if you're a Lions fan.
Yeah.
And it's also taught, we have a ism here, a saying at Rocket, you have to believe it before you see it. And so it's taught me to really believe in something without ever seeing. I've never seen a championship. I've never seen a Super Bowl. Up until a few years ago, I'd never seen a playoff win, but I believe it's going to happen year over year over year. It's starting to happen. We still have to take the next step, but it's definitely taught me patience. You can still be patient while also having passion, and that's what it's taught me.
Yeah, so because of that belief, do you think this is going to be their year?
I could take this entire podcast to give you my view on the Lions this year, but if we can stay healthy and our young guys can take one more step, I think we can bring home the championship to Detroit.
Doubt it.
I mean, it's possible, but on the topic of football, you played college football at Hillsdale, right?
Yeah,
What position were you?
I was a linebacker.
Linebacker. Wow.
Yeah, I was about 30 pounds heavier, so I'm washed up now. So it was back in my glory days.
That's awesome. But what did playing sports in college, especially football, kind of teach you about competitiveness and even losing that are like those values that you still use today running a $1 billion revenue operation?
Yeah, I've learned so much from sports over my lifetime. But I think college athletics was a way different skill set than high school or little league.
Yeah.
And I think what college athletics taught me, college football, was preparation. Of course you have to show up, and of course you have to attend the meetings and practice, and of course you have to lift and you have to get strong and you have to get faster. But the prep that was required to be great that nobody asked you to do, like in college, there's film available on everything, not just games, not just your competition, but also we filmed every practice, every second. So getting up early and watching film, staying late and going in after dinner and studying our opponents, and then just that prep that nobody asks you to do, I found pretty early on in studying some of the best guys on our team, like that's the difference. And so I think that translates a lot to business, where of course being smart and working hard and being able to hustle and grind is important, but it's that preparation that nobody's going to ask you to do outside probably the hours of operation that is usually the difference between winning and losing in business. That's what I learned from college football specifically.
Yeah, and linebacker is probably one of the hardest positions to play on defense because you got to know every person on offense and how they move and if they're shifty or not. Because the linebackers can play one-on-one defense, they could pass rush, they could play zone. So linebackers are a really hard position. So
I like this guy. You're right. You got to cover the pass. You got to cover the run. You got to call the audibles. You got to make the adjustments. It's the quarterback of the defense. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
that's kind of how it relates to business too, because you kind of got to know everything about everyone on your team, right?
Yep.
So high school, Austin, you were a football player and a future CRO of one of the largest mortgage companies in the world. Who were you as a kid in high school?
Oh, wow. I was a lot of things. It depends on the year of high school, maybe. But no, I was into athletics. I played football. I was also on the rowing team, crew team.
Oh, wow.
And so between those two sports, it was a lot of athletics. But I went to a unique high school. It's a Catholic school, but it was very diverse. So we had a boarding school where, we had a lot of folks from Korea and Japan and China.
Yep.
And then our athletics were amazing. So we had kids from all over the state, inner city. We had upper class, middle class, lower class. So like high school was awesome because it was the first time in my life I was just working with and playing with and friends with just so many different types of people, which is different than how I was raised. So high school was just a lot of different things. It was hustling in sports. It was trying to, get good grades, but also making a bunch of new friends. It was dynamic, very dynamic.
So was football like your main identity in high school? Like, is that what you were known for?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow. Were you always a linebacker?
Actually, I came in as a quarterback and a linebacker. And then my junior year, I was a linebacker, fullback, and tight end. But yeah, football was certainly my identity. It's what I thought about, lived, breathed, eat, and sleep. And school was important, of course, but it was kind of a means to an end. Got to get good grades so you can play college football. It was kind of the way I thought about it.
That's the problem right now too. Like with some high school athletes, like they kind of focus more on the sports than they do the grades, and some people just don't realize like the grades are kind of still important in a way because you have to meet certain requirements, especially now that colleges are pretty strict on when it comes to playing college sports.
Yeah, it's wild how NIL is just changing a lot of things. I mean, clearly it changed college athletics, but you're starting to see it trickle down into high school as well.
Mhm.
And even if maybe you're not getting an NIL contract in high school, you're really thinking about how you get it in college. And so it is bringing business into high school and college athletics, which that wasn't around.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you became better at time management as you kind of moved on in life and into the professional world?
You had to.
Yeah.
Sports have taught me more than I think anything in life and prepared me for business. But there's many things that the biggest was college time management for sure. I mean, to be able to balance everything that goes along with doing a sport in college and a pretty tough academic school and trying to have fun every once in a while. You did have to learn how to squeeze every second out of the day and stay organized and reprioritize things. I think that's a lot of people say, is college worth the money? Is college going to die one day? I don't know if it will. Is it worth the money? I don't know. But a very invaluable lesson that it teaches you is how to live on your own, how to juggle things, how to manage time. And that's one thing that, you can definitely get getting an online degree, but kind of getting shot out of a cannon and doing it out of campus is another level and something that I think is a benefit of college.
Yeah, our parents always tell us a real life experience is always the best experience.
It is for sure. You can't replicate it.
I feel like I don't learn as much if I'm going through a book compared to if I'm doing a hands-on project. Like it kind of has to be more of hands-on and me figuring it out on my own to kind of learn more about the actual thing.
Yeah, it's about being hands-on, but doing it with people. That's what life is, and that's what business is. It's figuring out problems with people. It's hard to do it on your own. And so half of learning, to your point, is not just learning the material and how a thing works, but also how to work with human beings to attack the problem. That's more important than the problem itself, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And When most kids think finance, they always think about the big paychecks and all the money you make. Is that what drew you into finance, or was there something else behind that paycheck?
No, it really didn't. So I had a marketing major with a minor in finance, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Even like the week before graduating, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Part of it was because I was graduating at the end of '08, which was like the worst possible economy in
Yeah.
maybe the history other than the Great Depression. So there wasn't many jobs out there. So you couldn't be too picky. But I just knew I wanted to work with people. I wanted to work for a great company. And especially early on in my career, I wanted to work for kind of in a role where the more you put into that thing, the more you get out of it. I know sometimes kids stress out about what am I going to do? I didn't know what I wanted to do even graduating college.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't sweat.
Yeah. And
Figure it out.
yeah, and you were just mentioning how bad of a time it was when you graduated. And that time was when the market collapsed. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, and everyone else was exiting. So
Yes.
that's kind of interesting in a way that you joined while everyone was exiting.
Yeah. My friends all said, "You're going to go work for a mortgage company? Mortgage companies are shutting down like at a rapid clip right now. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And so like, I trust the company. I trust the culture. But it was like my training class had like 5 people in it. And when I hit the floor, rates were very high. Very few people had equity in their house. It was like one of the toughest markets of all time to learn how to be a loan officer. But when I look back at my career, it was perfect, actually. It's like you're swinging with 2 bats. Like if you're learning how to sell and structure and communicate with people in an incredibly tough environment, well, 8 months in, after doing that for 8 months, rates plummeted. And then it went from like the worst mortgage market to one of the best of all time. And so, again, it's like a baseball player swinging with 2 bats. All of a sudden, you step up the plate, you throw the other bat aside. Now it's a hell of a lot easier. I was
Yeah, I
lucky.
feel like it all comes down to perspective at the end of the day. Like if you come in knowing that it's going to be hard and that you're going to have to work, I feel like it's going to feel a lot more easier, as you said, when it gets down the road and things start to lighten up. But if you come in there expecting something super easy and you're just hit with a wall, like it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be, you're not going to have as good of an experience as you could have if you changed your perspective a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the advice I give kids in like high school or even college. Is a lot of times when I speak to younger folks about careers and things like that, they're looking for this work-life balance or like, what job's out there that's the easiest, that gives me the highest income potential? And like, that's the total wrong way to look at it. It's like typically what I've found in my journey is like the harder something is up front, the more rewarding it is at the end as you get through it. And there's no such thing as work-life balance. It's the worst possible way to look at life. Life is life. You're going to work sometimes. You're going to be at home sometimes. Both things are going to be together. Like it's all one thing. Find a way to be happy. Find a way to fulfill yourself. If you look at work as somewhere you go to be miserable and life is somewhere you go to have fun, you're going to be miserable regardless of what you do. So I hate that term, work-life balance. It's all one life.
Yeah, and like even talking about being in tough things, I know your title is literally has the word revenue in it. So you're pretty much responsible for making the money in the company. So what does a bad quarter actually look like working as a CRO of Rocket Mortgage in such a high position?
Yeah, that's what I love about our business is, we're publicly traded and every quarter we go out and we tell the world this is what we're going to do. And then we have to go deliver it. And we do a pretty good job of delivering what we say we're going to do. But I think if you look, I think your question was about each quarter.
Yeah.
When you come out the end of the quarter, there are quarters where we crush it and we achieve above what we said we're going to do. And I'm disappointed. And there are quarters where maybe we didn't do what we thought we'd do, but I'm actually really proud of it, and vice versa. Because there's so many things in our business and in any business and in life in general that are outside of your control that could actually make something easier than it should have been. And there are things that work against you that are outside of your control that make things much harder. But if you can train your brain and look at business of like, there's a prayer out there. It's like, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And whether you're religious or not, it doesn't matter. Like, that's such a beautiful way. Like, accept the things that you have zero control over, have the courage to change the things that you do have control over, but you got to understand the difference between those two. And so, like, if a quarter goes wrong, but you look at it and said every single thing we could change, we had control over, we absolutely killed it, we crushed it, and there are just a few things that just rates went up 0.5%. Well, I was proud of that quarter. And then there's other quarters where we crush it, but it's like, you know what? We didn't do well in A, B, and C, and we had control over that. And we could actually done more. So it's less about the result, long way of answering your question. It's less about the result when you're analyzing your own business. It's more about, did you do the absolute best you could have done based off of the external elements that are going on? And that's what we hold ourselves accountable to.
You don't really pay attention too much to the numbers as
well,
not like that. Like, you don't really, it's more about the character in a way, like how you do things in that way, right?
Yeah. We have a ism here, and we call kind of our culture and how we operate together our isms. And my favorite one is numbers and money follow, they do not lead.
My dad uses
it. And it's the best because there's so many companies and people that all they care about is the numbers and the money and the numbers and the money and the numbers and the money. And that's all they think about. But if that's all you're thinking about is numbers and money, the numbers and money aren't going to come. But if you think about, like, how do I work harder? How do I work smarter? How do I learn more? How do I get my people feeling better? How do I motivate and inspire? How do we innovate what we're doing right now? And that's what you're obsessed over. You're going to make a lot of money, and the numbers are going to follow for sure. Mm-hmm. But so many people do it in that opposite order. So yeah, it's kind of that. It is like, obsess over growth, obsess over getting better, obsess over your people, and you'll make a lot of money, and the numbers will follow for sure.
Yeah, that's a great ism.
My dad says that all the time. You don't understand. Yeah. Like, he says it a lot. He uses that one.
Is there a book for all these isms?
Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah. I'll send you 3 of them, so each get your own.
Yeah.
Every year we have a new isms book. The isms don't really change. Once in a while we'll evolve them, but that's what really makes Rocket unique.
That is really cool.
I'm curious, how did the word isms come up to be the title?
Well, I think if you talk to Dan Gilbert, who founded our company, I think we called them, don't quote me on that, but I think we called them Quicken isms. You know, you saw like something isms.
Yeah.
And Dan's like, that's kind of cheesy. So let's just remove it and just call them isms.
Oh, interesting.
It's pretty creative, actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
But, and then we evolve them, and we always say isms in action, because nothing's worse than having a book of isms that you talk about, you train, but then you walk around the walls and they're not actually happening. We're not living them. Mm-hmm. And so we always say they're isms in act. The only way that matters is if we live them. They're in action. They show up, and that's what's important.
That's pretty cool. And I mean, that just goes to show you the uniqueness of Rocket and kind of the growth that you guys have had over the years, because we were born in 2010, which was after you joined Rocket in 2009.
Jeez.
So
you're making me feel old, boys.
Yeah, but we've grown up literally watching Rocket grow so much to the point where you guys have Super Bowl commercials, and you guys are everywhere on my social media. I see you guys everywhere. But you had a different perspective than what we had. You were literally, you had a front row seat to watch this whole entire company grow from the bottom up to become one of the top mortgage companies in the world, probably. So what did it look like from the inside?
Yeah, it's funny. When I joined Rocket, I remember sitting in my first ISMS day, 2 days into the company, and I was looking around. We were in a building in Livonia, Michigan. It was 5 stories, right? And I think there was a couple thousand people that worked at Rocket. And I remember thinking, I wish I would have been on the ground floor of this company. It's so big. Like, man, I missed out. And then looking back, that was the ground floor. Like, I was on the ground floor. But it's been an awesome journey. Like, when I started, we were in Livonia, Michigan, which was a comfy suburb back in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
A year later, Dan huddled up the whole company and said, we're moving to Detroit. And Detroit in 2010 was bankrupt. It was abandoned. There was nothing down here.
Okay.
And Dan said, we're going to go and we're going to turn around a great American city. We're going to make history. People are going to remember us. And a lot of people were excited, but there were some people who were like, I'm not going. But we moved down to Detroit. We had one building. And I remember there was like a Jimmy John's was the only place you could like go to lunch. It was it.
I mean, they have good.
And
food.
then, what was that?
They have good food.
Yeah. Jimmy John's is good.
Yeah.
But we went into one building and then we started growing and we bought another building and then we bought another building and then we convinced other companies to come down and then we gained momentum and now we come to Detroit. You guys have been there.
Yeah.
It's humming. You can't find a place to live because it's packed. We're building skyscrapers. There's cranes everywhere. And so that has been such a cool ride. Not only have we transformed home ownership and what it means to find a house and buy a house and finance a house, but we turned around a great American city, which is awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is cooler than being in the NFL?
Well, if I was 40 in the NFL, I'd be getting destroyed. So right now at my age, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And Shaylin mentioned Super Bowl commercials when he was asking the question. And I'll never forget this one Super Bowl commercial when our dad was there. It was actually the Eagles Chiefs second one, where there was a commercial and then it was
song.
Country Road.
Country Road, yeah.
Yeah, and it just transitioned into the whole stadium singing the song. And my dad was like, why is everybody singing Country Road? It's so weird.
And then we finally put 2 and 2 together after like a day.
It was sick.
So crazy.
Yeah, I remember we rolled it out. Our CMO, Jonathan Mildenhall, who's unbelievable. You know, he pitched us this idea. He's like, because we knew we were going to do Country Road.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, but we're going to get the last spot going into commercial break, and then we're going to convince the whole stadium to sing. And this. And we're like, well, what if it doesn't work? What if they don't sing? What if a player's injured on the field and it's like a somber? He's like, we're going to do it and we're going to figure it out and it's going to happen. It's like that belief before sight.
Yeah.
No one's ever done it. And boom, it worked out perfectly.
No.
It was
I was a little nervous going in, but it worked out awesome.
It was the smoothest commercial I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out for you guys. I love that perspective of your CMO right there. I mean, he probably has that growth mindset. Like, it's not gonna happen. He has that mindset of it's definitely gonna happen. There's no doubt about it in his mind.
Yeah, you got to believe it. That's that again. I keep bringing up isms, and I've already brought this up, but it's such. When I first started at Rocket, I thought it was cheesy. It's you have to believe it to see it, right?
Yeah.
You have to. There's the anti of that is I have to see it to believe it. No, you have to have belief before sight. But it's actually so true. Like to do something that's never been done before requires you to believe something that you've never seen. And it's the only way to win is to do things that have never been done before.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Exactly. And speaking of doing things that have never been done before, for you personally, I know in this podcast we talk a lot about helping our students with finding out about their future. But looking at you for your future, do you feel like you're building towards something more? Do you feel like there's something you've yet to accomplish, you've yet to prove, or do you feel like you've reached the peak?
Oh, well, the peak is so much, it changes all the time. And you guys will find that out in life. It's like, depending on the season of your life, your goals and what motivates and inspire you always change.
Mm-hmm.
It just evolves, right? And right now, I have 3 boys, 9, 6, and 5.
Yep.
And, you know, my vision and what motivates me is a couple things. I want them to see somebody every day, their father, that hustles and pours his heart into his career, but then also is wildly present while they're home with their boys. And that's hard to do, but like that's my new challenge. It was different, 5-10 years ago. And then when I think about Rocket, I think about it every day. I want to build a company that my boys who are super young, when they're out of college, they can come work for a thriving company. And when you look at it that way of like, okay, the decisions I make today, how do I make sure it sets this company up 15 years from now are a lot different than how do we win next quarter.
Yeah. Is that kind of also how you view success for the present and the future?
Yeah, I think it's the same answer. That's kind of the lens I'm looking at as successful. You become, as you get older, I don't want to sound too old here, but as you get older or you advance in your career, um, it becomes more important that you're planning deeper into the future than day to day, week to week, month to month.
Yeah.
And that's where I try to force myself to think about, my responsibility for this company and for my kids is preparing something that's beautiful, a decade from now, not just hitting our numbers for Q3.
Yeah.
But you got to do both.
How has that lens kind of changed from your high school days?
I think, and you guys probably think this way. I'm sure you think about your life 10 years from now, 20 years from now, but the older you get, the more clear it becomes. It becomes clear of kind of who you learn more about yourself and who you are and why you act the way you act and things you are.
Mm-hmm.
But then you establish a family and you establish a career, and the thing starts to become a lot more clear down the road. And so, yes, it's definitely different than how I looked at the world in high school. But part of it is because it's definitely become more clear what this thing is going to be, this life.
Yeah, that's a great take, actually. And I mean, look, this has been a great episode of talking to you and asking you questions. But I think you know what time it is. I think we're going to flip the tables and ask you if you have any questions for us.
Oh, yeah, I do for sure.
Let's hear it.
So, AI, it's a buzzword, it's everywhere. It is so real. I need to tell you guys in high school, college, whoever's watching this, I'm in the real world at a big company. If you're not using AI, you are done. If you're not a company that's obsessed and all in on AI, you will die. If you're a team member at a company, if you yourself aren't in it, studying it, implementing it, launching, learning, you're done. It is unbelievable, and it's only going to become more powerful. And so, like, to be on my team, if you're doing something without AI, I'm looking at you saying, what are you doing? So I'm very curious with you. How are you guys using AI in high school? And then I have a follow-up question. Like, are kids using it? Are some users? Everyone use it? Like, walk me through what it's like in the day in the life of a high schooler when it comes to AI.
So, I mean, day in the life of a high schooler and AI, it goes hand in hand. Every day it involves AI in some sort, whether it's helping with homework or helping prep for a test. I feel like AI is something that's really awesome, even for researching purposes sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah, and there also could be downsides to AI too, because it also doesn't really help with communication skills because you can only really gain that through experience.
Love that too. Like, communication, we didn't touch on this topic, but it's everything. I always say, I have a quote: everything you have or do not have in this life is based off of great communication or the lack thereof, whether it's your relationship with your significant other, your kids, your team members, people that you lead, people who lead you. If you can't communicate well, you're done. And if you can communicate great, you're going to do really well in all those things. And communication, by the way, it's not like getting up on stage and be able to deliver a giant speech. It's listening. It's being able to be simple. It's having the courage to, like, tell people where they stand or what's bothering you. So, like, the art of communication I would study the hell out of it. And you're right. Like, if you're just leaning on AI to do communicating, it's such an effective tool to help supercharge your communication, but it can't be in replace of. But so you're saying teachers in general, you don't have to roll any teacher under the bus here, but like, they're not teaching it, they're not encouraging it, they're not leaning into it.
There's not a single class in our school that teaches you how to use AI because right now all the kids in our school just use it to like do all their homework or just use it as an advantage for them and not as a resource for them. But I think next year there will be a class that teaches us how to use AI properly and how to use it as a resource.
Yeah, exactly. Like, not to throw any shade at the teachers, but I kind of do see where they're coming from, to be honest. Like, I feel like now it's just become a tool to cheat for some kids who just don't know how to use it properly, which is why they're also kind of just shying away and not really using it as they should be.
Yeah, and I feel like like I had this one teacher from my entrepreneurship class, and she really encourages us to use AI, and I just feel like that kind of makes us use it more responsibly.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're taking an entrepreneurship class, it better all be about AI
Yeah,
because that is
much
where
AI in
business
that.
is headed aggressively.
Yep.
So I'd lean in. Again, you want to understand and learn principles and foundational things on your own, but you need to couple it with finding scale and building systems that help you become more effective. And AI is so good at that. You guys, whoever's watching, I would be spending significant time understanding this thing called AI. It's a powerful thing.
100%. All right. So thank you so much for hopping onto this podcast and having a conversation with us. We really enjoyed you. You were amazing.
This was awesome, guys. I had a blast. And go Lions.
No. It's
No.
go birds.
Go
It's
birds.
I got my Dan Campbell bobble here. It's the year, boys. It's the year.
Yeah. You're like Cowboys fans. It's our year. It's our year.
Every year.
You guys
Oh,
can
yeah.
find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Threads, Facebook, every single social media platform. We'll be there. We are the Futur3 Podcast, and we out. Peace.